Hi, and welcome back again to Mind Over Madness, where we analyze fictional characters, kind of go down their mindset on how they became the person they are based on traumas and things they went through as a child and their mental state. Of course, this season we're focusing on villains. Who doesn't love a favorite villain? Please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment your guesses. Comment your guesses, everybody, and what you think about the show, what should be added, what maybe you dislike. Just kind of give me some feedback on, what you think about the show. But let's move on to kind of recapping on last week. So, last week we talked about a person who was a fear of aging, right? And I have statistics. So, in real life, because I'm pretty much these villains deal with things that happen in real life. It's just kind of put in an animated form. But in the US 2017, there was a survey that went around and it pretty much determined that 42% of women between the ages of 25 and 44 reported that they were in fear of aging. Now, do you agree with that? I would say I'm actually shocked it's not higher. And I say that because it literally every store you go in, if they sell like cosmetics or any type of like beauty things like lotions or whatever, it's a lot of products that advertise that they help prevent aging, the wrinkles and whatever else aging comes with. So that is proof in the cake that aging is a big thing that we are afraid of. Yes, me too. I don't know. And it's going to happen because we're humans and that's just life. But I mean, I still don't want to get old. Like, I want to be young for the rest of my life, right? Going back to the last villain, that was the same thing that they wanted to do. They wanted to be young for the rest of their life. But unlike them, I didn't go down the same path. I just still live life to the fullest while I can. But this person, they decided to take a different course of action. They stole something, whether it was a person or a thing, that somehow allowed them to stay young forever and be immortal. So, this person, drum roll please, is Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. And every time I think of Rapunzel, or Tangled rather, I think of the song Mother Knows Best. That was my song. I sing that to my kids all the time when it came on, because Mother Knows Best. But with that story, everything was a lie. Like, she made Rapunzel a victim from her whole childhood. She stole Rapunzel from her parents as a baby. And I think she was a princess. And then just lied to her every time. So Rapunzel didn't get to enjoy the outside because she thought the outside was just so dangerous and all of this. And it was just to prevent her from being taken by somebody else or actually being seen and saying, oh, you are not the person you think you are, you're this person. So Mother Gothel was making it seem like she was protecting Rapunzel, but in reality she was protecting herself to make sure she got the prize of that magic that was in Rapunzel's hair to keep her young and immortal until the 18th birthday. As we all know, Rapunzel ended up finding out that what her life was not truly her life. Mother Gothel was not really her mother. But of course, that's going to be scars that Rapunzel has to live with for the rest of her life after that. So it all is just like a domino effect. But moving forward, we're going to move to our next villain for the day. Tad bit different. So, clue number one. I was raised in a land where only the strongest survive. Weakness is not an option, it is a death sentence. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I feel like some families go through that where they teach you have to be, not some families. I want to say it could be cultures that go through that where you have to be the strongest. I'm going to make sure I look that up for y'all to see what culture that is. Not necessarily America though, but other cultures, right? All right, so clue number two. I grew up in the shadow of an empire that saw my people as nothing more than savages, unworthy of respect, unworthy of power. Hmm. Fitting a little outcasty it sounds. Clue number 3. But I know better. I knew that strength was not given, it was taken. And I would take what was rightfully mine. Hmm. Okay. Hopefully you guys are making your guesses. I'm not quite sure if I would know who this is by those first 3 clues, but I'm going to continue. Clue number 4. My people were cast away, treated as outsiders, as if we were nothing. They built walls to keep us out, thinking they could ignore us, erase us. Let's bring it back to real life, people. Now, I know a lot of people have experienced pretty much the same thing, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your neighborhood or society itself. It's where you feel like an outcast and you could not even have even been the one to do it. You want to know what's the main key that makes this happen? Bias. A lot of people put a lot of bias on people. So one person could do something to this person, and then now they have that portrayal that everybody that looks like that one person that did that wrong all do the same thing. Again, we are human beings. The plus side of being human beings is that we do not all think alike. We do not all act alike. We all have our own different personalities, our own different courses of actions that we take, our own different mind processes. That is what makes us human beings. Like, sometimes I just don't understand. Like, how can you be biased towards a person? First of all, you've probably never even met, never even tried to have a conversation to get to know who this person is. To be honest, these biased people be missing out on some good gems of people that were good and had knowledge that could probably help them, like could have been their best friend. But because they allowed that bias of something that someone else did, hold them back and put that wall up, but now they don't want to accept anybody. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I understand, like if you've been raped or like really mutilized by a person, yes, if you let's say if you've been raped by a man, initially, yes, you're going to hate all men because it's just that thought process and those feelings is going to come back to you every time you see a man that looks similar to that person. I understand that. And it's the overcoming and the actions, the course of actions that we take depends on what path and what tunnel we go down and what's at the end of that tunnel. It's all about the actions we take from things that happen. That's all it is. But that's what causes that. All right. Clue number 5. But I refuse to be ignored. I refuse to be forgotten. If the empire will not give me respect, I will carve it out with my own hands. Who is that? Is that Tina Turner? RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Respect is a huge thing. Like, all of us deserve respect. And I feel like if I give respect, I should get respect back. And the fact that this villain did not get respect, it makes you feel like, well, damn. So that's what we doing? And then it makes you hold like a grudge against the person, the people, whatever this is. But it's like, okay, you don't want to give it to me? I'm gonna take it. And in real life, that's how it is in real life. And I'm telling you, working in corrections, like respect is a huge thing. And a lot of the offenders feel like officers has to earn the respect, which I get. I get because some people come in there and they think just because they're on the other side that they automatically supposed to get their respect, and that's just not how it goes, unfortunately. So respect is so big, but these people will learn, right? Clue number 5. But I refuse to be ignored. I refuse to be forgotten. If the empire will not give me respect, I will carve it out with my own hands. That sounds like some violence, some huge violence right there. Like, okay. Oh, let me go and give this person their respect before they get me. All right, clue number 6. Their arrogance blinds them. They hide behind their great wall, thinking it will protect them. But walls do not make a nation strong. People do. Mm. And I will show them just how weak they truly are. I like this is a really strong one. Let me just repeat that one little part. Walls do not make a nation strong. People do. I'm gonna just need y'all to ponder on that one, and we're gonna move on. Okay. Clue number 7. And just FYI, in that last clue, it had a nice little clue in there. It was a clue inside the clue. They could have gave y'all a big hint, but that's as far as I'm gonna say. Clue number 7. I led an unstoppable force, a loyal army that shares my hunger for conquest. We are the storm that will shatter their illusions of power. Shivering in my boots or my socks right now. Clue number 8. I believe in survival of the fittest. Only the strong deserve to rule. I have no mercy for those who cower behind tradition and titles. Y'all, going back to corrections, like when I tell you, some of them people go in there and think because they're an officer or like they get ranked that they got all this power, and it's just like, dude, but what's to back up the title? Like, I don't. I'm not gonna comment more on that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just leave it at that. All right, so y'all, we on the last clue. So y'all got to know who this person is. Let's see. So, and when I reach the heart of their empire, I will show them what happens when you underestimate a warrior who refuses to be forgotten. I would say this probably, and I'm just thinking like, I'm having empathy, y'all. If I'm on the other side and I actually create this stuff, I don't know if I would have guessed it who this person is. Guessed it is not a word. I would not have guessed who this person is. Because like I know there's a clue inside of the clue, but only because I know who the person is. But I need y'all to put y'all comments down so I can see like, is this guessable? Like when y'all find out next week, I'm like, oh dang. Because really the clues, you'll know who it is once you find out who it is. That was a little crazy, right? But anywho. So, just to break down their mental health and their traumas, they had, of course, a survivalist and recklessness. As you've seen, they said they believe in the, what they say, the survival of the fittest. So they believe strength is everything. But that's how they grew up. They grew up in a harsh environment where you had to be strong in order to survive. So that's where that mentality came from. And then, of course, they had the revenge and recognition. So, and one of the clues it mentioned, they did not get the respect and they was pushed out, so they're going to take it. So you don't want to give him respect? I'm going to make you give him respect. I'm going to take their respect from you. They went off of that. They had narcissistic and psychopathetic. Now, I feel like all the villains had the same trait for some reason. Like, when you automatically go to a villain, does that automatically become a trait for you? Like, or having that trait, and that's what makes all of the villains, or in real life, all of the people that do bad things. I don't like to say bad people, people that do bad things. But this was due to seeing the conquest as a means of dominance. So remember, he mentioned that they built an army who wanted the same conquest. And of course, that conquest was making sure they took over whatever they were trying to take over to get their respect. And then last but not least, they had paranoia and distrust. So they view the walls and peace and diplomacy, which was the titles and things, as a weakness. And believing betrayal and conflict are inevitable. Do I believe that one? I don't know if we can have like a world of peace for eternity, because there's always differences, and it's going back to we're human beings and we all think differently. Now to come to kumbaya all the time, I do kind of feel like it's impossible, but I do feel like a lot of things that become a war or whatever could be prevented. So that's going to this villain. Now, based off the clues, this person was a product of resentment, survivalist, and hunger of recognition. That respect was really strong for them, as you can see. And so the question is, was he a monster, or was he truly someone that was just denied respect for a long time? What could have prevented this? What if this society accepted him and his people? Would they have got this far as what sounds like a war? Would they have got that far? They just accepted everybody for who they were. I don't know. It's a question to ask. Well, make sure you comment your guesses. Again, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. What are you doing? Make sure you like, make sure you comment your guesses and whatever your thoughts are about the podcast. I do plan on adding kind of more as we go along. I got a big thing I want to kind of work on too, to just kind of add to it. But for now, make sure you master your mind, or your madness will.